Hey everyone! Welcome to PopLink's Scandals in the Entertainment World. Come and go, but every now and then, a story unravels so tangled that people can't look away. That's exactly what's happening with Remy Ma's latest move. What started as whispers of drama has now exploded into a storm that fans are calling one of the wildest sagas in recent memory. At the heart of it all, Claressa Shields, Papoose, and Tony Rich, a triangle that doesn't feel like a triangle at all, but more like a maze with no clear exit. According to those close to the situation, Remy is no longer content to drop hints. She's allegedly calling out Claressa for entertaining two men at once. On one hand, there was Papoose, hip-hop's longtime symbol of loyalty. On the other, Tony Rich, the man who wasn't just a boyfriend, but her fiancé, the one fans believed was her steady partner. If the claims are true, Papoose wasn't stepping into her life as a new chapter, but more as a distraction while her main relationship stayed intact. The rumors started small, casual sightings, blurry photos, and whispers at industry events. But they quickly grew louder. Reports surfaced of Claressa and Papoose laughing together at a charity gala, then later being spotted at the same restaurants, even leaving a private gathering at the same time. While these encounters could have been brushed off as coincidences, things became harder to ignore when gossip blogs began leaking what they claimed were private messages between the two. Whether the texts were genuine or not, they were enough to fuel a firestorm of speculation. Meanwhile, Tony continued to appear supportive. He liked her posts, showed up ringside, and smiled for cameras as though nothing was wrong. Some people now wonder if he knew all along and chose to ignore it, either out of trust or for the sake of her public image. Remy, however, had a different perspective. For her, this wasn't only about Claressa's choices, it was about Papoose, the man she had defended for years. Her cryptic posts online suggested she was preparing to pull back the curtain, hinting that she had receipts to prove her point. Fans immediately latched on, demanding answers and speculating about how deep this situation really goes. What makes this even messier is that no one seems entirely innocent. Every silence, every post, every public appearance is now being analyzed like a clue. And in a culture where rumors spread faster than facts, the anticipation of the next leak has everyone holding their breath. The drama surrounding Claressa Shields, Papoose, Tony Rich, and Remy Ma has turned into one of the messiest sagas the internet has seen in years. What started as quiet rumors has now blown into a full-blown storm that mixes betrayal, loyalty, and maybe even a little staged publicity. And like all great scandals, it started with a post that was too wild to ignore. The first image that spread across social media was a collage. On one side, Claressa was pictured with Tony Rich, the man she was supposed to be building a future with. On the other, she appeared cozy with Papoose, the rapper long praised for his devotion to Remy Ma. That alone would have been enough to raise eyebrows, but the second slide made things even messier. The next screenshot showed what looked like private messages from Claressa's phone. At first glance, it seemed normal enough, but a closer look revealed something disturbing. The names and dates were different, but the words were nearly identical. Both men were apparently being told the same things. You're the only one I can trust. You understand me better than anyone. If the screenshots were fake, they were very convincing. If they were real, it suggested Claressa was carefully feeding both men the same script. But it was the third slide that truly set the internet on fire. Right there in bold letters was a quote: "Tony doesn't need to know everything. Papoose doesn't either." That single line poured gasoline on an already raging blaze. Within hours, hashtags like #TonyandPapoose and #doublebooked were trending. The internet moved fast. Memes flooded Instagram, comparing Claressa's dating life to her boxing record, undefeated. TikTok creators reenacted imaginary group chats between all four players, adding shady music and dramatic sound effects. Some joked that her real footwork wasn't in the boxing ring, but in juggling two relationships at once. Behind the jokes, though, the conversation grew uglier. Insiders began speaking up, claiming they had seen the truth firsthand. One alleged former team member told Gossip Spill Vibe, "This wasn't a fling. It was calculated. She knew exactly how to keep both men in rotation without them crossing paths, at least until now." The public was divided. Claressa's loyal fans argued that her personal life was no one's business. Others called her a hypocrite, pointing out how often she spoke publicly about loyalty, discipline, and focus. And then there were the Remy loyalists who said this was karma, not just for Claressa, but for Papoose himself. Because suddenly, the most loyal man in hip-hop had found himself in the embarrassing position of being both the cheater and the one cheated on. And right on cue, Remy broke her silence. She didn't do a polished interview, and she didn't release a diss track. Instead, she went live on Instagram without warning. Sitting in a dimly lit room, she stared straight into the camera and said, "Y'all want to know if it's true? I'm not here to lie. Yes, I knew. I knew a long time ago. And I let it play out, because some lessons have to be learned the hard way." The comments exploded. People begged her for receipts, tagging Claressa and Tony non-stop. But Remy stayed calm. She didn't spill all the details. She simply made it clear that she wasn't protecting Papoose anymore. Then came the twist no one expected. Tony Rich, who had been silent up to this point, finally made a move. He posted a photo of himself with Claressa in the gym. No caption, no explanation, just a smirk and two boxing glove emojis. The implication was obvious, he wasn't leaving. This only fueled more speculation. Was Tony aware of everything all along? Was he unbothered because he already knew? Or was this his way of claiming victory, sending a quiet message, "She's still here with me, deal with it"? Meanwhile, Papoose remained silent in public. But insiders claimed he was scrambling behind the scenes, calling friends, trying to control the narrative before more leaks dropped. Some said he was furious at Remy for speaking out. Others claimed he was angry with himself for letting things spiral so far. And then another rumor began to circulate, one that flipped the story on its head. Whispers spread that the entire saga, from the sightings to the screenshots to Remy's live video, might actually be part of a reality show pitch. According to multiple sources, production companies were circling, hoping to turn this chaos into a limited series. If that was true, then every move might have been carefully staged to keep the drama alive just long enough to sell the story. Why now? No one knew what was real and what wasn't. Was Claressa truly balancing two men? Was Tony genuinely unbothered, or was he cashing in on the attention? Was Remy spilling the truth, or just the version that made her look like the smartest one in the room? And was Papoose a victim, or simply the guy who lost control of his own game? The internet got its answer, or at least, more fuel, when a gossip page dropped a 12-second video clip. Filmed in a dim midtown lounge, it showed Claressa leaning close to Papoose, whispering something in his ear as he laughed. Then, only moments later, Tony Rich walked into view. The kicker? The timestamp was just 1 week before Claressa's Instagram post declaring forever with Tony. The video went viral instantly. Fans dissected every frame, matching Claressa's jacket to another post from the same night. Twitter exploded with jokes. How is she sitting with Pap and posting about Tony in the same breath? But what truly blew things up was Remy Ma reposting the clip herself. No caption, no explanation, just the video and a single eye emoji. It was confirmation that she believed it. And that meant the conversation shifted. It wasn't just about Claressa anymore, it was about Papoose. What did he know, when did he know it, and why did he stay? The fallout came quickly. Sponsors began pulling back. A sportswear brand that had just signed with Claressa quietly removed her campaign photo. A small label froze Papoose's upcoming feature. Even Tony, the man who looked like the winner, faced relentless comments questioning how much he was willing to overlook. Then another twist landed. A supposed friend of Tony's came forward, claiming Tony knew everything all along. According to this source, Tony allegedly said it didn't matter because it's all part of the hustle. That revelation sparked an entirely new theory, that this wasn't betrayal, but branding. And if that's true, then what is Papoose? A willing co-star? A pawn? Or the only one not in on the script? Through it all, Remy Ma has played her role flawlessly. If this is a stunt, she's either not part of it, or she's crafted her own subplot, ensuring she remains the sharpest voice in the room. Her cryptic line in an interview, "When you know the truth, you sleep better. And I'm sleeping just fine," only added fuel. Now the scandal has spiraled far beyond Claressa's alleged double play. It's become a messy web of loyalty, publicity, and survival. Claressa's discipline is questioned. Papoose's image is cracked. Tony's role looks suspicious. And Remy? She's thriving in the chaos. The unanswered questions keep it alive. Was Claressa really juggling both men, or were they all part of a stunt? Is Tony truly unbothered, or quietly cashing checks? How much of Papoose's silence is dignity, and how much is NDA? And is Remy the Avenger, or the puppet master pulling every string? One thing is certain, this isn't the end. Not when the folder of receipts hasn't been dropped. Not when rumors of a reality show are still swirling. And not when every player in this saga has the power to flip the script with a single post. So buckle up. Because if you thought this was messy already, the next chapter will be even louder, wilder, and impossible to ignore. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pop Links for more awesome content.